Hello gamers, this is Soulburn from the Bloodline Clan playing Hustle Castle. I'm going to attempt to make a video to help everybody out with the arena fighting. Now to do this, when I jump into the arena fighting, I want everybody to understand a little bit of my strategy to try to finish in the top 3. We always shoot for the #1 position, but it's really important to always try to get in the top 3 so you can win the most badges and the most glory possible while trying to place. Right now I'm at 1.6 million power, so I'm towards the top of the bracket. So it's actually easier and easier to do this the higher in power inside your own bracket that you gain. But I want to show you later, I'll make a second video where I take out my 290s and my 91 fighters and put in 85s, and I'll take away my artifacts and I'll drop my power down to about 1.2 million or so, and I'll show you how this same technique works even if you're at the lower part of your bracket and not at the higher part of the bracket. Now there's so many different techniques that people use on this. In the past we used to always lose the first fight, because when you get into this to the tournament, there's 2 sets of points you could win. Anyone below you is, for my bracket, worth 100. Anyone that's above me is worth 150. Only the first round will everybody be worth 100. So let's go ahead and jump into the tournament, and I'll show you exactly how my strategy works. Like I said, we used to lose the first one, and some players still do that, especially the higher end of the bracket players if they're 1.6 to 2 million, because being on the higher end of the bracket has its own challenges. During the fight, or during the arena tournament, you're going to have 5 rounds. 5 rounds. What you want to try to do is win at least one fight that's above you, meaning that it's worth 150 points and not just 100. Almost every fight you only get one of these, because once you do win a fight that's above you, it usually pushes you up the top end of the bracket or pyramid, and you can't really get anybody above you again. It's rare when you can fight twice like this. Now if you lose the very first battle, it gives you more chances to win at least 2 of them. You almost have to make up for the points that you gave away by losing. But let's see how I'll show you how this works out. For the very first round, everybody can win the same amount of points, and in my bracket it's 100 points. So what you do first is tap on all the players and try to see if there's anybody in here you can beat, or how many. You're trying to see if there's at least 5 people. This guy's 2 million, so 1.2 million, so there's 1. 1.4, that'd be 2. 1.1 is 3. 1.1 is 4. 1.1 is 5. 1.1 is 6. 800,000 is 7. 900,000 is 8. So there's at least 8 people here I can beat. The only one that I really have to watch out for is the 2 million. Alright? What I don't want to do is feed the guy with 2 million. I do not want to jump up above him in points and make it easy for him to beat me for the bonus points in round 2, 3, 4, or 5. So what I'm doing is I'm waiting for my timer. You can see up in the corner we have 45 seconds left. I'm looking for the check marks. Everywhere you see a check mark, you know they've already fought the round, and that's how many points they have. So right now, if I was to fight somebody and score 100 points, I would be above all of these guys. You can see King Arthur up here finish his with 97 points. So I do not want to finish above 97 points. So I'm going to pick one of these guys that are a little bit higher level. So I'm just going to take the 1.4 million, because I know I can't get a total of 100 points. I'll drop probably 4 to 6 points off of this. The idea is I'm trying to stay under that 2 million. That way I don't feed the highest guy up there. If I fought him, I'd lose for sure. So I'm just going to avoid him. But not only am I not going to fight him, but I'm going to try to stay down below his points so that he can't get the bonus points off of me in the 2nd through 5th round. It'll make more sense here in a second when you see this round finished. Now I've got 95. Remember, he had 97, so I know I'm below him. So now when we go into the 2nd round, this technique, the 2nd and 3rd round, are 2 of the most important rounds in my opinion, because this sets up the final round. Fourth round is kind of just as important, but you'll pretty much see how it works out. I've got 2 minutes now to decide. So what I'm waiting for now is all these check marks. All these guys rush to play as fast as they can. They're trying to get the most points they can, et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm doing is going to take my time. I want to go down to that last 30 seconds before I actually pick my fight. I'm watching Arthur up there at the top. Right now he's got 97 points and he doesn't have the check mark, so he hasn't fought yet. If I fought somebody, let's say these guys down here with 0, I know I'm going to pull 100 points, 98 to 100, okay? Knowing that, let's just say I'm going to pull 100 points. Right now I'm sitting at 95, so I got a possibility of 195 points. The rest of these guys have 188, 189, 190. I will actually still be above these guys, but look at the guy that's in position number 7. He has 219 points now. If you look at who he fought, he made 130 points, and it's Anik, however you want to say that, but he made 130 points this last fight, so he actually fought somebody that was above him that was worth 150. Look at Arthur. You see how Arthur now has fought, and he's only at 197? This guy at the bottom in the 7th position is going to jump above everybody. You can see by his total score. So what I want to do is I want to go for enough points that will keep me below Arthur at 197, but yet it'll keep me below this 219. I can actually get 100 points and still be below 219, but I still do not want to pass Arthur. He's got 197. I can still score 100 points and only be at 195. So I'm going to fight one of these real low guys down here, the 800,000 one, because I actually want a full 100 points. But remember, my goal is to keep the 2 million above me, because I know he's going to fight that guy that was in position 7, because he's going to jump up above all of us. And I know he's going to get to fight him, but I want to be able to fight him too. My goal is to keep up with him and then beat him in the end. So I had 97 points out of that. And you would think I would have scored 100 points out of that 800,000 power. But anytime they pop skeletons or snipers or healers, it's just extra people that you have to go through, and that's what takes time. And remember, the faster you kill in the arena, the more points you have. So it's all about the speed. You want to be able to build a team to kill as fast as you can. Your arena build may not be the same as your clan war build, because clan wars are built on how long you can last, one fight after another after another. But when you're in the arena, it's how fast you can kill that one team. So if we look now, you can see Arthur, my 2 million, is still above me. So there's only one person above both of us, and it's a 1.1 million. Now here's the tricky part. I'm still going to try to keep him above me, because I do not want him to get any bonus points. I have to watch the guys below me, because if they can jump up, if you see my score, 192, if I fought this guy right here for 908,000 power, he could possibly give me 100 points. So the most I could score if I fought anybody below me is 292. So I'm trying to make sure my 292 is going to be below Arthur's, but he might fight the guy in the first position up there for the 150 points. You can see under his reward, right under his check mark, that he's worth 150 now. So I'm kind of waiting to see what Arthur does. The rest of these guys at 276, 277, you can see Cole. If I would have left him alone and fought somebody else, he would be above us too. Because you can see Cole, if I fought a 100-point person, I could only have 292. Well, he's already at 331. So if you drop this down, the thing, you can see he fought the Anik guy up there at the top and got 141 points out of it. So we're really waiting to see what Arthur's going to do. And I think Arthur's going to go ahead and fight him, although he's waiting to see what I'm going to do. So for this, I think we're just going to go ahead and fight him, the number 1 guy up there, just to get the points. So we're going to see if we can get 150 points out of the 150 possible. So it looks like we're going to pull off 145, so we drop 5 points. Now it'd be interesting to see if he skipped the battle or not. He might have went just for a 100 point, and he'll have 2 or 3 people above him. So you can see I jumped all the way to the top with 337. Let's find, oh, Arthur's down there. Arthur actually fought another 100. He wanted everybody to jump up above him. So you see his strategy was, well, let me see how many people that'll jump above me, and then I'll pick the weakest one that I think I can get the most points out of during the speed kill. So remember, the faster you kill them, the more points you get. Well, the more people that are above you, you get to pick and choose and try to pick the one that you think you can kill the fastest. So that's what he's going to do. He might wait one more round. Now what I'm looking at with my 337 points, the best I can do is 100 points. So at best I can beat somebody for 100 points and end up at 437. I'm waiting for these check marks to come up. Homer J still left. I want to see if Homer J kills Cole. And if he could take out Cole, which I don't know if he can, 1.2, what is Cole? He's 1.4. If he does, he killed him at 150 point value. And if he jumps up above me that high, I might choose somebody that will cost me points, meaning that I kill him slower so that I can drop below Homer J there. But it all depends on what he does. Does he go for the 100 point, or does he go ahead and try to fight Cole? And he might lose, and if he loses, then I don't even have to worry about it. Because remember, I've already fought one fight that was worth 150 points, and you almost never get more than one fight per battle. So really, I'm looking at a 100 point shot. The only time I would get another one is if somebody like Homer J actually beats somebody above him, Cole, or even myself maybe. So he did 408, so 4037, so he didn't do it. So my best bet is to take one of the weak guys down here and try to get 100 points out of it. I hope I'm not making this too mathematical, because really, once you've done this a few times, it's so easy. And like I said, you're not going to win every single battle, but when you really get this strategy down, it'll flow really fast, and you'll find that you're just killing time waiting for the timer to run out. So I got me 100 points out of that one, which was my max. That's really good. So now we're going to be going into the fifth and final round. With me having 100 points, unless the 2 million player jumped up above me, I'll be on the top again, which unfortunately I am. The reason that's unfortunate, because flippin' Arthur is 4 points below me. So this 2 million guy is going to get a second 150 kill. He's going to come right after me for the 150 points. And you can see up here on the arrow, I was the first person he went after to get the points. I cannot beat him now. So he got 145 points out of beating me. If I could have stayed below by 4 points, he would have been on top. Then it would just be whoever could get the most points out of a 100 point kill, because if I was in second place and he was in first, both of us could only go for a 100 point kill. So what I'm shooting for is the most points out of 100. Now here's where I'm going to show you how I choose which one I think I can beat the fastest. You can see 5-star here is 1.1, you got a 1.1 and a 1.1. They're all 1.1 million. If I click on the first player or fighter, I'm going to go through them real quick and count how many artifacts they have. So he's got 1, 2 artifacts, and then look at the gear at the top. Lots of epics, lots of blues. 2 artifacts with some epics and blues. Let's check out this guy. Absolutely no artifacts, and mostly legendary. Yeah, a couple epics. One more guy to look at. The reason I'm looking at these, counting up the artifacts, so 2 of these guys have no artifacts whatsoever to slow me down. I'm going for the fastest kill possible. Now it's just a guessing game, so I'm going to take a little bit of the less power. Let's just go for this guy. So when you're looking at the gear, you can look and see if they have a lot of blues. Blues are rare items. If they have a lot of blues and epics, purples, then their gear's lower, which means they won't do as much damage to you. You'll be able to take them out faster speed-wise. If they have, one player has 4 or 5 artifacts and another player only has 1 or 2, always go for the one with less artifacts, because it's less stuff for you have to deal with for speed. You want to kill them as fast as you can, and their artifacts and higher end gear are what slows you down. Doesn't matter what level they are. It doesn't matter if they're 300,000 less power, or they're only 100,000 less power, or if they're 500,000 less power, those items that they have equipped will slow you down. So, end result, I ended up finishing in second position only because the fourth round, Arthur had 4 less points than me. I was trying to do the video and everything, and I wasn't paying attention to that. If I would have looked to see how much Arthur would have gained at a 150 during the fourth round, I could have said, okay, he's going to be, if he had max points, got 150 during that fourth round, where would he be at? And then I could have looked at that and done the math on mine. At 100 points, because I was on top and the most I could do is 100, if I got a max of 100 points, where would I be at? If it would have been over that amount, I could have picked an opponent that I knew I would have dropped 5-6 points on and try to stay below him. The only thing in that situation would be is if that happened, he would be ahead of me by a point or two. So that means that fifth round, I've got to find somebody worth 100 points that I can beat and actually get more points than he does when he fights somebody that's worth 100 points. So you see I took second place. Hey, I'm super happy with second. Just because I had a 2 million player in there. This can be done the same way if I was one of these 1.1 million guys. The only difference, you saw how many were in there. Like 7 of them were all in that range. So when they go to pick fights, they have to think of the same thing. I only want to fight people I can beat, but I want to fight them when I can beat them the fastest. That way I get the most points out of it. But I'm trying to keep some of them that I can beat above me so I can go for the bonus points. But I got to be really careful about jumping above the higher guys, because I would just be feeding them, and that keeps me out of the top 3 spots. I kid you not, when I was at the lower bracket, I had absolutely no artifacts, and I finished 4th a million times. Drove me crazy. First time I got an artifact, then I got a second artifact. Next thing you know, I was placing every time. Then once I started getting up there in the bracket, I was winning first or second every time, and now I can actually pull off first probably 3 or 4 times out of 5. And it feels really good to do that, but you have to just understand your limits within the bracket. Am I on the bottom, am I in the middle, or am I on top? If you look at 4th, 5th, and 6th place while you're playing, that's where I was stuck at for the longest time. If in the 5th round, before you fight that 5th round, take a look at who's in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd spot up there. Everyone that's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, look at their score. And if they can score enough points that it would knock you down to 7th through 10th spot, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you can get on the very low 7th through 10th spot. So what I'm trying to say is, if you look at 5th and 6th spot, and if they win 100 points, they still can't knock you down there. Those 4th, 5th, and 6th spots are all worth the exact same value in badges. What I do in the 4th spot, if I can't be bumped down to 7th, if I lost, I shoot for one of the guys in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd spot just to try to place. Even if I lose, I'll still be in 4th, 5th, or 6th, which is worth the same amount of badges no matter what. So I'm not losing anything. Doesn't matter which one I take as long as I'm still there. Now, if it would possibly cost me to where I drop down to 7th, 8th, or 9th, then I won't do that. I'll just do something so I can stay on the 4th, 5th, or 6th slot, because I'm going for the most badges I can when I'm at the bottom of the bracket to be able to buy artifacts and jump up. Same thing applies if you're in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd position. Let's say I'm in 2nd position where I'm at right now, but it's the 5th round. I could go for the top guy in number 1 spot, and if I beat him, I'll win the whole thing and be in 1st place. But if it's somebody that's tougher than me, or I think it's going to be a really close fight, I have to look down below me. If anyone down below me can beat somebody and push me out of 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, meaning that it's not guaranteed I'm going to win 2nd, win or lose, then I'll just fight somebody to keep the spot. I won't even go for the top spot. I would rather be guaranteed 2nd place than to lose and get kicked out of the top 3. So I will always take the guarantee, even if it's 3rd. If I'm guaranteed 3rd spot by fighting somebody lower than me, I'll take 3rd spot over the chance of getting kicked out of 3rd spot if I don't know if I can win 1st or 2nd, beat the players above me. I hope this helps. I'll make some more videos, this and that, for different situations. I'll try to make one also for just losing the first battle. You can lose the first battle and go from there, but you have to remember, if you're going to lose a fight, to try to get more people above you so you can go for the points for somebody above you. You don't necessarily have to lose the first one. You can actually play the first or second round and then let the third round go and do it from that point on. So it's not necessarily you have to lose the first one all the time. You just have to go in with a game plan that you're going to lose one. But remember, any fights that you give up on purpose, you lose the glory points for it also. And that's one of the things I really like, collecting the glory points off of it. So I try not to play with that strategy anymore. I try to go with all 5 fights.